Hey guys, this recording is an instructional video for the week of October 26th through October 30th. If you are watching this, you probably realize by now that I will not be in this week, and therefore you have this instructional video. So I'm going to go over the things that you are going to do this week. And so I need you to make sure you're watching all of it. I am going to try to get it done within 9 minutes. If I go a little over, please stick with me. I am trying to make sure that you understand all of the requirements this week. So one of the first things I want to make sure we all understand is that there are 3 things that we're looking at this week as far as learning targets. I want you to be able, by the end of this week, that you can engage in an online discussion about a grade level text, AKA I am Alfonso Jones. Traditionally, we have used Google Classroom to do an online discussion. We are going to use something called Parlay to see if we can have a better, more effective online discussion, because I think you are ready for the high level. Okay. Number 2, we are going to make sure that you can reflect on your learning for this unit in order to set goals for quarter 2. We are wrapping up Alfonso Jones, and therefore you will be doing a debrief this week. And then finally, something that you've been working on almost every week is that you can determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases, AKA vocabulary. You will get a new Frayer model this week. As far as vocabulary to know, I think you do know all of these things, but the term online discussion, what a reflection is, what a debrief is, and online discussion etiquette. There are really 3 things I'm really focused on, but there are 4 things I'm going to ask you to do this week. In class, whether you're in class in person or whether you are in a Zoom, you're logged into a Zoom, you are going to, by the end of class 1, which is Monday the 26th, you're going to view the instructional video for this week, which is what you're viewing right now, and you're going to start working on your assignments. In class 2, it's going to be work time. So whether you're at home or whether you're in person, you're going to be working, and you're going to have the ability to meet with your peers or talk with your peers or talk with the person in the classroom for help and guidance. Okay. So 4 assignments. The first one is watching this instructional video, which you are doing right now. You need to leave, once you are finished watching this, you're going to leave a class comment on the video. The class comment can be one or more of the following things, depending upon your understanding of what I'm asking you to do this week. If you get confused about anything I say, then you're going to do bullet point number 1, a clarifying question about something that was confusing in the video, something you need me to clarify for you. If you feel you understand everything, then you're going to move on to bullet point number 2, summarize what you need to do this week so I know that you know. And you can also do bullet point number 3 if there's any other question that you need me to answer. Okay, you're going to do all 3 of them if you feel that you want to, but I need at least 1 comment that earns you an easy 20 points. It is a learn about it assignment. So it's due by the end of your period on class 1 on Monday. So before you leave my class, that has to be done. You have to just post it on Google Classroom. It is a learn about it assignment, which means it is not accepted late. You need to make sure you do it on time. The second thing that you're going to do this week is you're going to complete a discussion thread on something called Parlay about Alfonso Jones. So you have prepped for Alfonso Jones. You have read Alfonso Jones and you have annotated. You've completed annotation guides. You are ready to have a really good conversation, okay? And that is going to be 100 points, an evidence of learning. And I would suggest, starting it at least on Tuesday. You can start it early, that's fine. Because there's 2 parts to this. You're going to have an original post. So you're going to do that early enough in the week by Tuesday. And then you got to leave feedback for your peers. You don't want to wait till the last minute on this. In just a moment, I'm going to go over exactly what that looks like. The third thing you're going to work on is your debrief, and that is 40 points. It is also an evidence of learning. It is due the 26th. I'm sorry, you can start it on the 26th, but it is due October 30th by 11:59 p.m. Then you also have your Frayer model, which is also due on the 30th by 11:59 p.m. So you can work on these in any order that you would like, as long as you adhere to the due dates. The biggest thing for you guys as far as due dates is make sure you comment on this video by the end of class on Monday, and make sure you give an original post for the discussion thread by Tuesday. After that, you can organize your time however you want to, as long as you meet the final deadline. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and make sure you understand this discussion thread. Traditionally, you have been answering questions on Google Classroom. You are ready for that next level, higher level online discussion, because it's very clear based on the responses that I've gotten from you that you know how to do that. And so what this is going to do is mimic Socratic Seminar a bit more. And this is also why I had you ask questions for each section on your annotation guide, because I wanted you ready for this step. Okay. So when you get to Google Classroom and you're in the classwork section, you are going to scroll down to this week's playlist. It's got threads next to them. And you're going to click where it says discussion thread. And this is going to tell you to follow the link so that you can join the conversation. And the original post is due on the 27th, and then the final responses are due no later than the 30th by 11:59. Okay. The earlier you respond, the more time you have to earn extra credit. There are directions for that in this link. So you will click on this link. What this is showing you right now is my teacher's side, which I don't want to show you. When you click on it, it's going to have you log in. You can log in with Google Classroom. That's fine. I'm not sorry, Google, your Google account. And it's going to already have, it's going to populate a code for you. And so when you get on, what's most likely going to open up is this. So it's going to open up to this. And this is some reminders of how you're going to have the conversation. It's going to tell you, they call it a round table. I call it a discussion, AKA Socratic Seminar. All of those things being the same thing. You're going to review the prompt, which will be on the left-hand side over here. Then you are going to submit your response so that you can see other people's responses. And then you're going to join the discussion and you're going to respond to them. So there are multiple parts to this discussion thread. This is the first time you have done this. And so we are also going to be working on what does it mean to have proper discussion thread etiquette, online discussion etiquette. Okay, so on the left here, you're going to read this entire thing because it's going to tell you exactly how to get your grade. Okay, your goal: by participating in this roundtable discussion, you will learn to hone your online discussion skills about a text. Your goal is to ask deeper level questions in order to promote discussion about I Am Alfonso Jones with your peers. You've already read the graphic novel. You've completed 2 annotation guides. Within those annotation guides, you had to analyze the text for connections and patterns. You had to ask questions. So this will be the foundation of our discussion. This is why I asked you to do that. This roundtable will be like Socratic seminars that we had last year. A lot of you did really well, and I think a lot of you ended up liking them. Just took some getting used to. But it's the way we learn best. The more we ask questions, the more we discuss, the more we learn and understand. And that is why we're doing an online discussion question. You are required for this to pose questions, just like you did in the Socratic seminar, and answer questions in both a thorough and insightful manner. You have already come up with some fantastic questions. So look at your annotation guide to ask which questions you want to ask. So this is more about posing the question as the original post and responding to each other. Okay, the thing before I move on, I want you to know that Parlay gives you a historical nickname. So when you respond to each other, you may not know who each other, you don't know who it is. You're not sure if it's your friend, whatever, it's someone from your class, but they just kind of hide your identity. So when you respond to each other, you can use each other's nicknames, right? And then, but when you're writing a response, okay? So an example would be, I see what you're saying, Frederick Douglass, whoever they label Frederick Douglass, okay? The next section of this is gonna tell you some content and media that you're gonna need to be successful. So number one, you're gonna need your annotation guides, and you need to open those and review what you have written. Open up your I Am Alfonso text as well, so you have it ready to go. Then before you ask your question in your original post, you are going to view this interview. So when you click it, it's going to bring up a YouTube video.
Today we are going to be talking.
And you're actually going to be looking at Tony Medina and the illustrators of I Am Alfonso Jones. And I know it's a little long, so I would start this earlier. Like, this is why I would make sure you start this at least by the 27th. But it's a fantastic interview that I think you guys will learn a lot from. Once you're done viewing, then you are going to start your original post. Your original post is this. Pose one question you really want to discuss with the class about the graphic novel, I Am Alfonso Jones. These questions should be open-ended in gender or create conversation. In other words, they shouldn't be a yes or no. They shouldn't just be a plot question. They should you're trying to get to the deeper level, the deeper meaning. Use the knowledge you gained while reading your annotation guides and the interview you viewed above to help you come up with one question you'd like to post to the class. You're going to write the response over here. You can add a picture if it's relevant to your question. You can, bold things, etc. There's all sorts of things that you can do. So then you click submit. Then when it's time to respond to a peer, you're going to respond to at least 5 peers' questions. So everyone's asking questions. That's the first thing everyone is doing. People, but here's the thing, and that there's guidelines below on how I'm going to grade you. Be sure to respond to 5 people who do not have a response before you go on to people that do. So for example, if I'm responding or I respond and then I see that some people don't have a response yet, someone didn't answer their question, I'm going to try to answer those questions before I move on to some that already have some sort of answer. So you just because we want everyone to have, a response, okay? Responses should be well developed, include sentence variety, reference the text, and keep the conversation going. So some things to keep in mind and how I am going to grade you. I'm going to look at your tone. Before you post a response, read your message out loud. Ask yourself if you would say this to an acquaintance face to face. Professional tone is what we're looking at. We're not looking for sarcasm. You got to avoid that because it's hard to interpret online. You need to make sure that your response values your peers. In other words, make an effort to understand and support your fellow students. You may not agree with your students, and that's okay. And you can have that conversation and you can, provide a reason why. But you should never put down a person in an online discussion thread. You never should attack their character. You should try to understand what they're saying and their perspective. If you see a flaw, you talk about the flaw, but that's it. Everyone is here to learn, and it's okay if we have some confusion. We shouldn't laugh at, maybe we were confused on a part of a story. That's okay. You should help each other clarify and not just, put each other down, which I think in this class, I don't really have a problem with, unless things get heated, I think sometimes, but we're really working to make sure everybody understands the text and the meaning behind things. So that brings me to the next thing. Yes, it is totally okay to have disagreement. You are encouraged to debate any of the issues that it's going to arise. This book is about Black Lives Matter. This book is hard and difficult because it's really happening. And so there are going to be some ideas that are presented by your peers that you may agree with or you may disagree with, but we need to be respectful to each other. So, and it's okay if at the end we change your mind, right? But we have to be respectful to each other. You should voice your opinions by all means, but do so in a respectful manner. I need you to use evidence. That's going to be very big. You need to incorporate and share the textual evidence from I Am Alfonso Jones, from the interview, or evidence from outside sources to support your ideas. So whatever it is you say, I need references back to the text. That's how you're going to get full credit. It is okay to not know something or change your mind. That's totally fine. You can even state it there on an online discussion. And then finally, as part of your question, like maybe you're responding to somebody, but part of your response is that you're asking them to clarify something. Maybe you don't understand what someone says. And so hopefully that person will answer you. So you can even pose more questions within the discussion. We have a lot of different experiences that inform what we believe. And so that's good. And we want to hear that. There is extra credit if you continue to respond to more than 5 peers. In other words, you keep that conversation going. Maybe once a day you check like, hey, has anybody responded? Let me respond to that person. The more you respond, as long as the responses are insightful and thoughtful and not just things like, I agree, or you right. That's not what we want. We want some thought behind it. You can get extra credit. Sky's the limit on this extra credit as long as it's more than 5 and it's insightful and thorough. So if you have a response, this would be like, you're going to write your response here. Remember, your response is your original post. So the question, you need to pose a question. And so maybe I want to say, what was your favorite part of I Am Alfonso Jones and why. Adding that and why is a really good question. And so I would submit my response, and it says, are you sure you want to submit? I want to confirm. And then I got it. And so it's given me, Ida Lewis is my nickname. And so as people are responding, then you can start commenting. And if I can edit my response if I want to, and I can, once people are on here, like you can comment on it. And so that's it. And so you're gonna keep doing that. So this is your original post. The question is your original post. And then the comments and feedback are the second part of this. And so it's just really trying to have a good conversation all week long. So I think that is going to cover it for this instructional video. Let me go back just to make sure. I don't think you need any clarification on the debrief or the Frayer model. They are right here. The Frayer model, we posted this shortly. The debrief is right here. I guess I didn't attach it. I didn't attach it, but it's essentially what you've done before. There is going to be a part in there that's going to ask you to just clean out your emails, just to kind of reset for the quarter. But it's the same thing you've done before, and the Frayer model is the same thing you've done before as well. So I think that about covers it. Please make sure you're reaching out via email if you have any questions, and don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Remember, the comment can be a clarifying question about something that was confusing, or a summary of what I need you to do this week, or any other question you need to ask me.